Okay. There we go. Now I'm talking right to you. I can see your faces right now. I can see through those screens. Don't you know? All the YouTubers have that power. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm sorry. Right, here comes the long-anticipated, long-awaited conclusion of the Maximum series. Now, I know what you're saying, but Dragon, you already did the last episode. And yes, that is true, but there is something else in store from the Mazm. And if you haven't guessed it now, you guessed it. It's the gallery. Throughout the story, there were different pictures that I couldn't purchase because I want to save my crowns for the main plot and for the side cases or the side adventures, so I could get it out to y'all as quick as possible. And yeah, that worked out swell, which means I couldn't purchase the beautiful gallery that was offered to me, which was semi-disappointing because which means we couldn't get into the moment as much, if you know what I mean. Let's just give a good example. When Utterson met Hyde, and we saw that beautiful piece of artwork, that wouldn't have been as close as intense and unsettling if we did not have that picture. We kind of got like the atmosphere from that picture. And I'm kind of a bit sad. If I was to do the series all over again, I would somehow get endless crowns and I would purchase everything. But since I didn't, I can't exactly do any dilly darn thing about it, which is fine. But now that I am done with the series and I've saved up my crowns to buy all of the gallery and okay, you know, I'm gonna get into this when I get into the video. So let's start the video. Are you ready? Are you proud of me? Are you all proud? Is this what I've become? A Jekyll? Yeah. You wrote a whole series, you got a second book coming. Actually no, you wrote a series, you finished the second book, then you finished the third book, and now you're starting on the fourth book. I think you are obsessed. Which, by the way, later today, I plan on posting a very special video with a cover of with a parody of a song, and it will hint the villain in the next Jekyll book, which, by the way, turned out a lot darker than I expected. I've tried to fix it, I really have, but I don't see any other way out of it. I'm getting distracted. We need to go back. All right, we're going back. Transport to Utterson's mansion. Yeah. Here I is. Yes, I said that wrong incorrectly on purpose. But going back to what I was saying before, I got all of the gallery, and I went back to all of the locations so I could get all of these beautiful achievements, because I didn't have like 5 or 6, something like that, with only like 1 or 2 that were required to get the achievements. Which meant I took a day and I went back and I talked to a lot of people and I looked at a lot of things, which probably, if I really was in Victorian London, except the conversation part, I suppose, it would make me look like I'm looking for something, which I was, but it would make me look like a weird person, like, what is that girl doing? Or I guess it's Utterson is a guy, so what is that guy doing? He's like looking everywhere, and you better keep an eye on that lad. He's been rather strange, and he's talking to everybody. What in the world? And the reason for that is because I was very focused on dealing with the story, and I didn't know that dialogue was extremely important. That talking to all the normal civilizations of the towns was very important to, number one, get some education in the Victorian England, which I enjoyed thoroughly, by the way. I learned a lot about Victorian England. My favorite time in English history. I don't even know why, it's just my favorite. Maybe it's because I'm the same size as Queen Victoria, I don't know. Or maybe it's because I'm such a big fan of the dress styles back then, especially the men's attire. Yeah, I'm obsessed. You know your obsession goes deep when you have a Victorian obsession and one of your favorite books happens to be from Victorian London. Anyway, I'm getting off track. The point is, I went back and I did all that stuff. I took a day and I looked at all of the gallery. Wait, what? And I did all the achievements. All of these lovely achievements, which means look at all of these facts. If you want me to go through all these facts, I will be absolutely happy to, though you've heard most of them because I've read most of them in the videos. But I thought they were educational, and so I read them and I put them in the video, so you'll have to watch it and learn something about Victorian England, which I really like, by the way. It's just me talking about how much I love just Victorian fashion, Victorian era London fashion. It's turned to one of those videos. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. I need to stay on task. So what I came here for, initially before I started talking about my personal love for Victorian England, is I went back for the third time I'm saying this. I went back, I talked with a lot of people, including Lanyon. We got a little conversation with Lanyon we didn't have before. Basically talk about some of the stuff in his house. And I got all the achievements, which means it reveals a picture, which I'm not gonna let you see until the end of the video, because I'm a troll like that. And also, that one came last and was the most rewarding, so I'm gonna keep that undercover. Okay, so some of these you have already seen. And subject name here has already mentioned that some of her favorites, I can't remember which one specifically it was, but you will get to see them in all its glory. You're welcome, subject name here. And also several other people who are a fan of the fandom. And by the way, I need to thank some of you for that. I was really getting disappointed and unmotivated in the Jekyll series because nobody was watching it. Every video had 2 to 12 views, which is, in this grand scheme of things, absolutely awful. And the thing is, I'd spent a lot of time and dedication drawing the pictures, writing the story, getting the music all set up, because I freaking hate doing the background music. I don't even know why, but I have a burning passion of hate for it, because it takes so much stinking time. And sometimes the sound effects can be a pain in the butt, so there's that. But the point is, something like that takes a lot of work. I'm not joking. Developing the story, writing the book, blah blah blah, took months of my time. Drawing the pictures, doing all that shebang took months of my time. Something I put a lot of time and, as I said, dedication in, and I was getting really unmotivated because nobody seemed to be... I had no feedback. I didn't have any feedback, so I thought people didn't like it. Or we're not finding it, whichever comes first. And I got really disheartened because it was something I was so passionate about. Until one day, a couple people started to take attention to it. And I will put those people on screen if I find them all. But there were 2 or 3 people that said, "Oh my gosh, I love this series. Please do more." And the thing is, up until that point, I'd actually written a second book. And I was in the process of making the third book when that happened. And I was planning on doing an audio drama of it or something. And I probably was considering, the very back of my mind, not doing it because nobody seemed to care. And there's not been any Jekyll stuff on this channel for a long time, and what I mean by that is storyline, not pictures or references, storyline. And about several months actually, I think maybe half a year, no storyline, no nothing has been seen so I will try to fix that, and if I didn't say it earlier in this video, I will hopefully be posting a parody of a song later that will hint who the villain will be. And by the way, for any of you listening, I would like a voice, I think, for him. Yes, it's a male, because I have a certain voice in my head, and when it comes to British voices, although it's a large spectrum of voices, I'm very limited on what I can do, me being a female, because my vocal range can only go so low and only do certain things, and I probably will do some sort of audition, describe what kind of sound I want, blah blah blah. But as for the song, I will just post it with my voice, because I don't have any voice for him right now, and yeah. So anyway, I just want to thank. That was just a quick little thing that I want. Quick thing, whatever. That I wanted to thank you all for. Thank you so much, and I had a lot of fun doing this series, and I hope to do maybe more stuff like this. I will be reacting to Mazm, Phantom of the Opera trailer, because I can, and because apparently it comes in November, so you know what Dragon will be playing in November. And so, okay, let's get down to the business. Okay, all the thanks and congratulations are done. Now let's get down to what actually we were here for. Gallery! Oh, that's nice. And so several of these, as I said before, y'all have already seen, and others you have not. Okay, so let's get down to this. This was the story of the door. Right, so this was taken when Utterson and Mr. Enfield first found out about Mr. Hyde's doings. And there's a little girl that he trampled on, and look at that eye. That is, oh my gosh. I am fangirling so hard. Look at that eye. It is just, ooh, leaking evil. Look at the mist. Look at the lamps. Look at, okay. The second one we've already seen is when Mr. Hyde and Mr. Utterson went face to face, quite literally. And as I said before, the more I look at this picture, the more creeped out I actually get at it. At first I was like, okay, this isn't bad. They could have done better with the facial expressions. But now that I look at it now, that I've looked at it way more, I can see how freaking intimidating this is. I mean, at first I was like, okay, sure, that's not that intimidating. And then you look at him, his facial expression, his eye, and then you look at how uncomfortable Utterson is, and I'm like, okay, actually, this is pretty creepy. And I like the smoke, I like the lighting, it's very nicely done. And kind of with Dr. Jekyll. Now, I don't exactly know where this is, but I would like to comment how amazing this looks. A lot of these I don't remember where it is. If it's the encounter with Dr. Jekyll, I'm guessing Utterson. I'm guessing it's somewhere where Dr. Jekyll met Utterson somewhere. Maybe it was when he was becoming all sick, and which would kind of make sense because Hyde at this point is taking more and more control over Jekyll's body and mind. So it would kind of make sense for it to be this intimidating. And then we got the incident of the letter, which I think, well, that's loud, which obviously Lanyon is there, so maybe it has to do with Dr. Lanyon and the letter that he sent. And look at that smoke, dude. Look at that smile. It kind of looks like Jack, not okay. It kind of looks like Jeff the Killer, yeah. Look at Lanyon just there, defenseless, dying. And look at Utterson being completely confused with what's going on. Concerned as well. I really like this face, actually. Look at those claws. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at all the paper in the background. I didn't even see that before. Oh my goodness. Next page, Lost Friendship. Obviously, I think this is when the little girl, Lanyon died. And I like the fact, by the way, that everything is kind of dark in color except for Utterson. Utterson is kind of the only one with kind of bright colors. I like the symbolism here too, the smoke, the skeleton trees, the gravestones everywhere, the mist, and the ravens. Ravens are symbols of death because they eat carcasses. And so, great symbolism here, first of all. Second of all, and third of all, rain. Rain, that's a good sign of dreariness and sadness. Oh my gosh, and this is beautiful. This is just gorgeous. And you have Blessed Out, obviously. We obviously know where this one came from. It came with Mr. Infield and Mr. Poole broke through Dr. Jekyll's door, and this is what they found. Which, might I add, compliments to the artist for this series, because look how freaking detailed this is. I can't even draw a hand well, and look at those hands. Look at the emotion on Hyde's face. Look at the creases in the clothing. Look at the shadows, and look at the colors. Very dreary, very cold, very ominous. Like, oh no, something bad happened here. Almost hopelessness. I like how cold it feels, because it gives us a sense of, something bad's happened here, as I said, but also hopelessness, because that's kind of what happened. And oh my gosh, I just really like how they portrayed this. This is very well done. And then we have Mr. Utterson's Recollection, which we saw before, as I said before, when Mr. Utterson read both of Dr. Lanyon's and Dr. Jekyll's letters, and he threw it in the fire to burn so that nobody else would read it, according to this version anyway, which I'm not entirely sure if that part was actually included in the book. I don't think so. I think it ended with Jekyll's letter, saying, like, your sad and fretful friend, or the end of Dr. Jekyll, something like that. So I'm kind of, we never really got Mr. Utterson's reaction to that. Like, we never got his reaction. Like, nobody knows how he reacted to those two letters and the pieces coming together. And we did, and we apparently got to see why Dr. Jekyll has never been documented. Why he doesn't have a birth record, apparently. Why his tale is not known. Wink, wink. And okay, let me start commenting on this. Okay, look at the burning letter. Look at the flames. They clearly used like reference and research to make these flames. And look at like the little ashes that's going on because the letter is burning up. And oh my gosh, look at the shading on Utterson. The fire is what I'm most stoked about, no pun intended, because it looks so good. It looks so good. And it's behind the fireplace, and Utterson is just looking there like, well, dear friend, I'm sorry it had to end this way. Which, same. And now we're going back. And now we're going back to achievements. Look at all these achievements that I unlocked for you. And so these are supposed to reveal a picture once you get all done. It's kind of like a puzzle piece. If you don't do some of them, there will be a little puzzle piece missing, if you will. And so, let's see it. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. They have it right here. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, much more clear. Oh my gosh. The classic little piano piece. Oh my gosh. And personally for me, this is my favorite piece. I mean, y'all might have your other opinions, and I know subject name here does have her or his opinion. I think it's her. But personally, this is my favorite. Because, oh my gosh, look at the smoke. Look at the sort of symbolism here. You know, light against darkness. The shading here is great. And then, of course, we've got the potion in the background pouring and splashing into this red mist or splash. or oh my gosh, and the shading is very interesting. It's very nice. They use kind of the crisscross sort of technique, and also like normal shading, like on the shirt, and on the face with Jekyll. They use like normal shading, but like on the hat, on the back of his neck, on the top of his, collar thing, they use like cross shading. I think that's what that's called. Where you basically crisscross it to make it look like it's a shadow. See, I learned something in animation. The point is, this is my favorite because I love it when people draw this kind of stuff. And need I point out that Jekyll's little necktie is tied up, but Hyde's necktie is not out like usual. I find that quite interesting. Is that symbolism here? Now that I think about it, is that symbolism? Because, them being confrontational is obviously, there's obviously an answer why they're confrontational, but I do find it interesting that Hyde's jacket is, I may be looking way too much into this, but that's just me in a nutshell. I do find it interesting since I'm only saying this because they've used a lot of symbolism so far, that Hyde's coat is buttoned, however Jekyll's is not. Now, and they have coats. Oh my gosh, they have through the whole series they haven't had any sort of outward coat on. So this is the first time we've actually seen them with any kind of coat on. I just realized that, wow. I do find it funny that about the whole coat button thing, and also Jekyll's necktie is out, but Hyde's is not. It's almost as if they switched fashion choices for a day. What does that mean? What? Does Hyde, okay, I may have a theory here. Does Hyde, just the buttoning, does it symbolize, like, he's hidden, he's tucked away, he's the side you're not supposed to see, but Jekyll is the side you show to everybody. It could even be your normal self. Your good side's the side that everyone wants to see, that you're very open. But something like Hyde would be very hidden. Maybe that's why, because I would expect, this is just me thinking through my own Hyde here, but Hyde, he doesn't like stuffiness. So I kind of would expect him to have the necktie kind of loose, him not wear extreme amounts of clothing like the coat and the vest and the shirt underneath. I would expect him to take the coat off and just wear the vest and the shirt underneath. Maybe even roll up the sleeves of the shirt underneath. The point is, he would need he would need very easy, light clothing to, number one, keep cool, because he's got a lot of stuff to do. A lot of people to kill. And number two, because, as I said before, lightweight. He needs to be light-footed and be lightweight in order to kill somebody quick. And so that's just my personal opinion. You don't have to take my opinion. But I do find it interesting. And, look at what are those? Are those specks of flame? Maybe representing the burning of the letter or something? Or, no. Or maybe that's like from the chemicals or something. Like sparks flying from the chemicals or something. And the fog. Anyway, that's really cool. Are they above water? Because you have Jekyll's thing underneath, like he's in water or something. Or maybe, no, it's definitely water or something like that. I was gonna say those could be stars, but I don't know about you, but the reflection, everything is just beautiful. And that is the end of it. That is quite literally the end of it. I have nothing else to milk from this app. The only other thing I have to milk from this app, well, it's not exactly milking from the app, it's just milking, is I actually, funny story, I actually drew Mazm's version of Jekyll and Hyde before I actually played the game. So that'll be up in maybe today or tomorrow. Hopefully I will, because if I don't, that would be really awkward for the both of us, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be really awkward. So that's all I really have to say. I just wanted to come here to just fawn over how amazing their illustrators were. Mazm, you are doing one heck of a good job. I mean, if you could make Jekyll and Hyde this enjoyable and this beautiful, I can only imagine what the Phantom of the Opera is gonna be. Oh man. Oh, I'm actually getting kind of excited. As I said, that is all we have for right now when it comes to Mazm. And you will know I will be one of the first to do something in Mazm's name in maybe November. Hopefully the Phantom of the Opera thing will be out soon, and hopefully it will be free because I like bargains. I like things that are free. I like apps that are free. So I need to close. I keep changing the topic. Okay, so I hope y'all all have a marvelous day. And Dragon Pony 1 out. Bye.